Welcome to ProjectME, the podcast. I'm your host, Tiffany Carter, the founder of ProjectME, multimillionaire entrepreneur, former TV newscaster, money-making expert, female empowerment speaker, and self-proclaimed office supply addict. My mission is to take the mystery out of making big money. Every week on ProjectME, the podcast, I'll share success tips, strategies, and stories from other entrepreneurs, experts, and millionaires, showing you exactly how you can achieve your most exceptional life. Now let's get to it. Exciting announcement for all of my listeners. I've officially opened my exclusive group, the ProjectME Passive Income Posse, to the public. This group is by application only, so we can keep the group high vibe and spend our time, energy, and expertise only helping those of you who truly want massive success and impact. You get live weekly trainings from me, special guest coaches, and direct access to me and my business partner for all of your questions. To learn more and apply, go to projectmewithtiffany.com, click on Work With Me, and select ProjectME Posse. And of course, any questions, feel free to DM me at ProjectME with Tiffany. Welcome to the podcast and posse, ProjectME with Tiffany Carter. I'm your host, Tiffany, and today you're going to get a little dose of therapy and some emotional healing. How about that? I think we all can use that. At least I can. Maybe that's why I brought her on. And even better, you're going to get double Virgo'd on this episode, people. So I brought on Kelly Patrick. She's a therapist. She's also an emotional skills coach, and she's the co-founder of Fitposium. So for any of you who've not heard of Fitposium, it is a major conference for health and fitness professionals to turn their passions into a brand that actually makes money. So you're going to hear more about that conference later. I have a special discount code for you guys too. I'm super passionate about it. One, I'm speaking at it, so you get to meet me live. And two, I know a ton of you guys listening are wellness professionals, fitpreneurs in that health space. And let's be honest, I know a lot of you are broke as a joke. So we've got to fix that. What's up, Kelly?
Good morning. I'm so excited to be here.
You guys, when I fell in love with Kelly because I spoke at the Fitposium Mastermind, and here I'm at the front and Kelly's in the back, and it was like this perfect pairing because I was doing all these exercises for basically our inner bully in our mind, which can, take us down a horrible rabbit hole. And she was like the other parentheses on the other side. And I was like, why is this girl so in tune with me? And then she's a Virgo. So I was like, we had the front of the room Virgo and the back room Virgo. I'm like, oh my God. And all the ladies in between, I'm like, you guys just can't get away with shit now.
It was a Virgo sandwich, and they just didn't stand a chance. I was like, wait a second. You're not being fully authentic with her. This is what she's trying to say. It was so awesome. I loved that. We should just do this all the time, just co-coach people.
Oh my God, that's such a great idea. It's like, do you want coaching on steroids? You need you need a Virgo sandwich. So tell us a little bit, for people who aren't familiar with you, tell us a little bit about your background, why you became a therapist, all those things.
Okay. So I grew up a military brat, which meant that I moved around a lot, and I'm also an only child. So I craved connection with people, but I was always going to different places. So I'd always have to meet new people, get to know their stories. So it's just this skill that you have to develop if you want to be a social person, if you're constantly moving to places. And I just really enjoyed that and found that I could get people from any background to talk to me. And as I was exploring that more and more, I just felt this calling to learn how to do this more, to get into therapy. And so when people told me stuff, I knew what to do with it or how to help them. So from there, I just always knew it's what I wanted to do. I'm a big believer in envisioning what your end goal is. So I just pictured myself as a therapist and, found the right courses and teachers and mentors and got there. And found the next step was, really to expand from a practice individually into finding ways to coach and to be able to help more people.
And lately, you've been really finessing and getting clear and niching down on who exactly you want to coach and what you want to help them with. And what I discovered today, you guys, is, how she wanted me to introduce her as an emotional skills coach. And I've never heard of that. Like, what does that mean?
Emotional skills coaching, we focus on like high performance skills, business skills, different areas of our life. We don't necessarily look at managing our emotions as a skill. Sometimes we view our emotions as a problem or something to get over or get rid of versus something that we can build as a tool. So I want to help people realize like their emotions are valuable and how they can navigate them while using them as a way to like get to the next level in their lives. So when I work with people in my therapy practice, I'm uncovering trauma. We're working on those things. But before we can even get there, we have to build emotional skills. So it's something that I'm doing all the time. And I just realized it was this commonality between my therapy practice, my coaching practice, and what we're teaching in Fitposium, what's needed to take someone from wanting to do something to being able to move past the obstacle so they can sustain it. So that's where this came from. And I'm just so excited to find people and kind of work under that label.
So two of the biggest things that I hear from people who maybe they're filling out an application to have me do business coaching with them, or maybe it's after, a live event I'm speaking at. And I love talking to audience members after. That's like one of my favorite things.
Wow, you're such a good speaker.
I just love, thank you. I love doing that. I love connecting with the people. That's the whole point of why we do these things. I hear over and over again these two words, like anything that surrounds fear, right? So so many things go back to fear, as you know, anxiety, even confusion. So I hear a lot of feelings and emotion words around fear that are keeping people from getting where they want to go. And I hear a lot of people saying they're stuck. So I would love to hear your take on this whole, I'm stuck, I have a block, I'm confused. What's your whole take on that, like, emotional mishmash?
It's a cycle. So we fall into this cycle of avoidance. I think when our emotions are messengers, we're receiving information from them, we're healing from them, we're learning what skills we need to use, how to problem solve. That can be really useful. But we can fall into this pattern of, I feel an emotion, it's uncomfortable to feel it, so I stop. And then we get a hit of like reinforcement from that because we stop feeling that yucky feeling. So temporarily, it feels like it worked, right? Like I stopped doing the thing, so I no longer feel that intensity of the fear. And it becomes reinforcing. We can get creative with our avoidance. So we can bring in things like drugs or alcohol. We can bring in things like overworking, over-exercising. Our bodies can take a lot of hit for it, right? And can like, I'll just focus on my diet. Whatever it is, we can do things that seem helpful. Like, let me just obsess over my Instagram following. Whatever it is, instead of walking through that uncomfortable emotion, and it reinforces itself. So anxiety is like this equation. On the top part is overestimating how much danger we're in. So it's that fear component. So when we have anxiety, we think that things are more dangerous, more scary, more risky than they actually are. Then on the bottom of that equation, the other side of it is we don't believe in our own abilities. So we feel like we are less strong than we are. We're less prepared. We're less skilled. So anxiety is a combination of overestimating how dangerous something is and combining that with doubting ourselves. So that creates anxiety when we're in that space of thinking things are worse than they are and that we're not as strong as we are, then we avoid. And that's where we get in that stuck feeling where it's versus like, okay, let's move through it. Let's get into that feeling and figure out what it has to teach us.
Wow. I've never heard, and you guys have had like 500 years of therapy. and also, isn't she clever? The clever Virgo weaved in the workaholism and exercise addiction, which most of you guys know that I'm in recovery for. So that's appropriate. But I love how you said the overestimating danger. That's so profound. And I love that. So let me take you through I love channeling my audience. Like, let me take you through like
Mm-hmm.
probably an average of a lot of the listeners now where they have a great idea. Let's say they're, in the health and wellness space.
Love it.
And they love working out. They love fitness. They love like nutrition. They love whole food eating, all those things. And they're like, I see all these people online. Like, I want to make a business out of that. There's the emotions behind it, right? Are excited, possibility, exuberance, like a lot of high vibe emotions, right? And then they maybe create an Instagram page.
Yes.
There's still some excitement. And then they're not getting likes and followers. There's not much traction. There's definitely no money. Then they start the comparison-itis and looking at all these other people who've been doing it. And maybe their bodies look leaner, or maybe they're younger, or maybe they're older, whatever it is. And then it starts down a path and then they go, well, this isn't working. I'm stuck. And when they get to that point of, I'm kind of those low vibe emotions where it's like, they're demotivating, right? I'm stuck. This isn't working. Maybe I'm an idiot. Maybe I shouldn't do this. Who am I to do this?
Stories.
What do you recommend that can help women to do who are in that like low vibe space?
So the way I look at it, it's like 3 different steps. So the first is like it's getting into the no, and then it's like getting yourself into the now, and then it's going into your flow. So the first part, getting into the know, is just knowing like, what are your patterns, what are your messages that your emotions are trying to send you. Whether they're high vibe or low vibe, like they're all valuable teachers. Our emotions developed biologically, like this evolutionary function to keep us alive. So if we didn't have emotions, we would be opened up for danger. But if we've had traumas or things in our life, our emotions are overactivated. So they're sensing danger when it's not there. So it's just taking some time to look at like all of your different emotions that are coming up. What are the messages they might be sending you? And remembering that your emotions they're just information. So if the message you're getting is, oh, look, this person has more followers than me, or look, they're leaner, the message is maybe there's some fear there that you're not feeling as confident in this thing as you'd like. So just looking at it from a data aspect versus going with that feeling and getting stuck with it. So just knowing what your patterns are, what are the messages you're carrying around from your family? I know you do this when you're looking into people's money stories. What are the messages you received? Kind of same things with your emotions. Then the next step is just bring yourself into the now. Like get out of this cycle of comparison, of worrying about all these things. Like just bring yourself into your body, use breathing tools, use progressive muscle relaxation, meditation, go take a cold shower, stick your head into like a freezer. Like cold is a good thing. It slows down our body. When we're anxious, everything's going fast, right? But our body slows down in the cold to help keep us alive. So if you were to jump into a lake of cold water, everything slows because your body doesn't know how long you're going to be in cold water.
Oh, interesting. I thought the opposite because like last night, like I jumped in the pool. I love like night swims. And I jumped in the pool and it was colder than I expected. And I felt like I got almost like a jolt, like, oh, like almost like I was like, oh shit, maybe I'm going to wake myself up. I won't sleep. But I did calm down.
It will eventually calm you down because your body is trying to conserve. So it like redirects things to other areas because it's like we need to survive. So let's get to survival functioning and redirect our energy to other areas. So if you can like put a cold pack of peas on your face, lay down and breathe and just focus on bringing yourself into the now. And every time your thoughts come up about comparison, about something else, this isn't serving me, this isn't productive, back to breathing. So, and there's lots of different ways we can do this, but getting yourself into the now. And then next, it's like tapping in with your flow. And your flow is like can be described as lots of different ways, but when you're in it because things are aligned. You're not in a place of fear or comparison. Why am I doing this? Is this decision aligned with my goals? Do I have realistic expectations that in the 10 minutes I've been doing this, that I should be at a place where someone who's been doing this for 10 years is? Right? But until we can logically think that way, we have to identify those messages and we have to get ourselves into the now because we'll just keep running ourselves into a rut. I was talking to a client the other day and it's like you have to get this perspective of like going up onto a mountaintop. Like if you're in the middle of a game I'm terrible at sports analogy, but if you're in the middle of a game, you can't see everything and all the other opportunities, right? That's why you have like a coach who has like a different perspective who can see everything. But if you're still in there playing it, you can't see what opportunities you might be missing. So getting into the flow is when you know you're not in that like grind state where you're in that tug of war and you've gotten some perspective. And then you can actually make decisions and you're not in that cycle of avoidance in the low vibe. Hopefully that made sense.
Oh my God. I'm like, this is my like zone though. You guys know I like really get super into this because as you know, I teach you cannot out strategize a broken or mismanaged mindset. It's not possible. This is how I lost literally almost every penny I had made and saved by the time I was 30, which was almost $1 million, is because I was focused on doing all the things, right?
Mm-hmm.
The, working hard, the marketing stuff, continuing education, going to like the Tony Robbins, getting, all those things. I was so focused on all that. I read all those high performance books, I was a good student, did all that stuff but I didn't focus on learning anything about, the emotional skills, like you said, or any sort of mindset work. I also fell into that cycle that you were talking about, which I now, of course, attract clients who do the same, which is so funny how that works.
We heal who our future self needed. Our past self, Yeah, totally.
It's so funny. And it's such a beautiful cycle of giving back. It goes to show like once we've done the work and we go through something, then our versions of our old self appear to help those people. I think I could cry. I think it's so beautiful.
I get goosebumps thinking about that. It's like, oh, this is why I went through this because I can help you. Like it makes sense.
Yeah. It's so beautiful. So I hear, even this week, I would say 4 clients alone all said a version of the same thing to me. Tiffany, I'm doing everything you told me. We're talking tasks, okay?
Yeah.
Doing everything you told me. I'm posting this. I've changed my content this. I've niched down. I'm focusing on your emotional-based sales techniques. I'm showing up on lives. I'm da-da-da-da-da-da-da. I'm doing all the things and nothing's happening, meaning I'm not converting and making any money. I'm sure you've heard this from your mastermind people. I'm sure you've heard this from people who just, talk to you in general. What do you think the reason usually is when someone is doing all of the intellectual tasks, all the right things, but it's not clicking?
I think they're not in that flow state where their emotions are not matching the actions that they're taking. If that makes sense. They're out of alignment in that A, and B, I think they maybe just haven't given it enough time. Sometimes our expectations are that these things will just happen just overnight. And then when it doesn't happen immediately, we're just, oh, screw it, I'm out. It's kind of like in a relationship where we look for that one thing, like, oh, they did this one thing, I'm out. I don't want to get hurt again. I don't want to get burned. So I am just looking for that one, not to say we shouldn't be looking for red flags, you guys, but I'm looking for that one small thing that I can just, I'm out of this friendship. I'm out of this relationship. So just the same way with business, like I've put myself out there, I've opened up my heart, but I've opened it up this much and I'm ready to slam the door shut if it immediately doesn't happen. So you have not released your expectations of what is to come, which is such a hard thing to do because we're task focused. Especially as Virgos, we want to see this result, but we do all the work. We listen to what our coach says. If you listen to what Tiffany says, you do all these things, but then you have to have that trust in the universe and God and whatever it is that it's going to happen in the right divine timing. Otherwise, we're just going to sit there being like, but it didn't happen yet. It didn't happen yet. And we're in that energy that clients can pick up on. Maybe you're saying the right things, but if you seem very needy or edgy, it just isn't going to flow. Like I know for myself, when I work with clients and something didn't go well and like we just didn't have a match, I have to think like, what's up with my energy? Did I not meditate? Did I not take care of myself? Did I not do the right things to set myself up? Like I'll diffuse some oil before I go on a live and put on my salt lamp and just so I feel prepared. And that way, okay, maybe it was something in my energy that they were responding to. So looking into that.
I'm dying. We're so much alike. Just as you said, salt lamp. I have one you guys obviously can't see this. I have one like on my desk and I just turned it on. Normally I turn it on. That's so funny. And wait, hold on. You guys can't see this, but I have
You've got
oils.
your oil.
I have oils like literally as like a supply right here next to
and
me.
like your Buddha's behind. I mean, my goodness, Tiffany. I'm
girl,
in my husband.
I have to do all the things.
Yes, we have to, and I can tell. I can have the same patient, and I can blame the patient, like, oh, they're schizophrenic, that's why it's like this. But I had the energy in this space, and I've met many different schizophrenic clients before that didn't react to me that way. So what was in my energy? Like, not that we're to blame for everything, but always looking at what's our part. So
yeah, and be able to get honest with yourself. But I don't want you guys to take like a bat out and now that whole inner critic is now. Because I have a tendency to do that. Did you know I'm an only child as well?
No.
This is like when you said that, I was like, this is weird.
Oh my goodness.
But I have a tendency, just from my abusive upbringing, everything was my fault. Everything. I mean, everything was my fault, period.
Yep.
And so I have a tendency, and I've had to work on, where I can over own my part. Does that make sense?
It totally makes sense.
I don't want you guys to take a bat out and say, oh, I didn't do this, I didn't do that. What I also see when I coach clients through this whole thing of your energy, you're in that needy energy, that desperate energy, that vibe. People can smell it or taste it. Believe me. I tried to outact that and perform that my whole life. Sometimes it did work. Sometimes it works. Most of the time it doesn't. But then what happens is these same people go, okay, Tiffany, I get these text messages. Tiffany, okay, I've let it go. I've surrendered today. Okay, Tiffany, I've let it go. It's like, but they haven't.
No, you haven't.
So what is true surrendering to that, whatever someone believes in, God, universe, whatever it is, what is that true surrendering? How does someone know if they're really there?
Oh, goodness. I mean, I feel like we could have our whole series or books on this. This is what philosophers, dedicate their lives to. But I honestly, I think it's a feeling, and you're not constricted. You don't feel rushed. You don't feel tight. You don't feel like you're holding anything there. It's not the absence of emotions that are low vibe. It's that you're seeing them, and you can have space from them, and you realize that there's more to you than that emotion. So you see it, you're like, okay, this is coming over me. This anxiety is coming over me. My need to control is activated. My attachment to outcome is here. I see it. I'm giving it to the universe, and I want to recommit to being open. And if you have to do that 100 times in your mind during an intake call, it's not that it's gone. And that's where that wanting to do something right or own it, there's nothing to do. It's just you spot it, you see it, you offer it up. And then when it comes back again, you do it again, as many times as you need.
Is there a certain personality that is just not destined to be an entrepreneur? Are there certain types of people where this is not a great path for them?
I think it can be a path for anyone. It's just you need to be willing to be aware of and to be humble, and to be aware of where you may have been covering things up. We may have adjusted our lives to accommodate our past traumas and our past unhelpful habits, things we've been taught from our parents, from society. Especially as females, we tend to own stuff, right? So we may have just accommodated our whole lives around others or around our unhealthy habits, and we may not see it. We may not perceive it because we've gotten so good with making accommodations. When you become an entrepreneur, it opens up all the cracks and exposes where you've developed all of these things. And you may have patched things over with things, and I come up with things, I'm just trying to think of examples, but with overworking, with alcohol, with different things, or with just serving others. Maybe we feel better about ourselves by trying to give of others. Whatever your unhelpful habit is, we all have them, don't sweat it, but get ready for them to be exposed to you. And even if you've done healing work before, it'll just show you the next layer of what work is to be done. Some people see that and it's too much and they just stop. But if you know it's coming, when I become an entrepreneur, when I decide that I am going to run a business, I'm going to try to sell my services, that my unhealthy habits will be exposed to me. If you know that going in, then when you see them, you can stop and go, okay, here's where I need to learn a new way. Not that I can't do this. It's just, I need a new tool. I need a new skill. So
you guys, by the way, I had no idea this was coming because what I thought, because I've had my other business for 11 years, but ProjectME is a little over a year old. So at the time I started ProjectME, I had a 10-year business. This is how I became multimillionaires off this other business, really successful business, just wasn't lighting me up in the same way. Anyway, I was like, how hard can it be to start another company?
You're already crushing it.
Right? Well, let me tell you guys, I've had more meltdowns in this last year with ProjectME. Number one, it's a personal brand. My other company is not. My picture's not on anything.
It literally says me in it.
Right. It says me in it. This is Hannah's project. That's interesting. But it's like, I'm here. I'm putting myself out here. This is also the first time I've told any of my abuse story publicly. I've been on some news stations and stuff like that, but that kind of content disappears, so to speak. This is like always here, and it's part of my story. So I'm so glad you said what you said, because I've had to take a look at myself in a much deeper level. My workaholism was absolutely reignited from starting this company. You say, of course, but why would it be reignited when I had that shit nailed down with my other company?
I don't think we ever, I don't think we ever truly like fix our problems. We learn how to accommodate them, and then we're just faced with this new level. So it's this opportunity to be like, I'm back in this place. Will I go into my old habit and stay in it? Or will I go into my old habit and realize it's time to use what I've learned? So I feel like life is like maybe levels in a video game. You've conquered this level, but then it's coming back up. But now we have new skills and we're going to use them. So it's showing it's like this review of like, hey, remember how you've been here and you've done this? Well, you're going to go back into it a bit, but now use those skills so you can feel like, okay, I did it, but I got myself out. So I think these things will keep coming up for us in life sometimes that we've healed before, showing us like, okay, it's here, but you know your skills now. I don't know if that makes sense. Sometimes you get these hits of intuition about it.
Yeah, no, it makes a lot of sense. And I want to for sure go down the path of being validated and depending on things outside of ourselves for our own worth. And that's where, for me, guys, I'm really transparent about talking about my shit. So it's like with workaholism, that stemmed from one, it's dissociative, meaning I can like not feel when I'm working like that. So that's a whole nother situation. The other thing is I'm really good at making money, right?
Yes.
So before, my self-worth was based on that. It was like, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm successful. I'm this. And it like, I could stand up taller, right? And I feel more confident and walk into. So I thought that was a good thing. However, now something is dependent outside myself. So when my company's revenue is down, or things I lose an opportunity, or something doesn't work out, what do you think happened to me? I'd be on the couch for a week. I'm not exaggerating.
Yep. No, it's as high as we get, like we have the opposite low, or maybe even worse when we're tied to like when we have it's called like an external locus of control. So when we have our control of our emotions is outside of ourselves, it's just this roller coaster. And when we don't have that internal validation, we didn't develop that skill of like validating ourselves from our childhood because we didn't have the right support from our caregivers, there was abuse because we were raised in a society that didn't value us, all these different factors. We don't learn how to self-soothe like in that level. We need to look, well, maybe if I just did this better, then everyone would love me. Maybe if I just did this, then that would happen. So we're just trying to prove something that as an adult, we're like, wait, I don't need to prove that. I can define my own worth. And it's not an easy realization to have in the moment, but it's something to just be aware of. Oh, okay, I'm getting really excited about this. I'm on this high because I closed the sale, but let me just remember, like, you know what? It's also like because like the universe worked through me right now, or God worked through me right now, or my intention, if you're not into that spiritual stuff, that's okay, but I'm helping this other person. So when you have a success, you can make it not just about you, but about how you got there. Then it's not all tied to this like validation piece, you're able to see like, I'm successful because of this, or I'm on my path. And I think that just helps prepare you. So if it's not there, you're not experiencing that big low.
Yeah, I see this a lot. I think it's actually becoming some form of an epidemic with social media. People are, the likes, the followers, the engagement,
yes.
right? So the sales, yes, but I'm even seeing, people are determining if I should continue in business, should I be following my dream based on the amount of likes and followers I have? Or should I continue pursuing my dream because maybe I launched, some kind of a fitness program or, wellness program and only 2 people bought it? This must not be for me.
And that's so easy to fall into and tempting. And I absolutely see where that's at. And did you change one of those 2 people's lives? Like, because that's what it's all about. We're here to help people. If we're even through, our online services, even if we never see them, it's a product. We're here because we believe we can add value to this world. So if we know we changed one person, one soul's life for the better, what other purpose do we have? A, and then B, just what can we learn from it? We helped one person, we helped save them money, we helped get them in shape, we helped their relationship, whatever it is you're working on, then what can we learn from it so we can do it better? Not just looking at that as a sign that we're not on our path. We should be looking at how we feel. What are our messages that are sending us? How did we feel making that sale? Were we in flow? Were we in alignment? Those are the metrics we should be using if we know that we're on our path. Because if we just sometimes follow that validation or what's getting likes, we might find ourselves doing something that's not actually what we love in our business anymore. We might end up taking our brand in a direction that's not true to us if we use all those metrics.
Right. Like what I've seen people do is they start doing, like booty shots. I call them like the guilty click vanity shots, so a booty shot, or maybe, maybe even being overly vulnerable more so than they're comfortable being, because that's kind of become a thing online now. So they're like, well, I need to share a deep, dark secret in order to, get these likes. Well, that's not coming, as Kelly's saying, that if that is not coming from a centered, grounded place, it can be really dangerous to share stuff like that. And guess what? You usually won't get as great engagement as you're hoping for anyway, because somehow the universe knows when you're actually out of good integrity as well.
Absolutely. And you're not going to, the people who are going to interact with it are going to be in that same energy space, like versus the client seeing like you authentically sharing something, and you're going to get those people who are ready for the work. Absolutely. Yeah.
That's true, because I have a client right now. She has 500,000 followers. Nice. And, right. So it's like, that's impressive. Like, I give the girl credit, right? Broke as a joke. It's not converting. And when I looked behind in her metrics, it is like 90% like creepy males.
Oh, yes.
Right. So it's like, so what? The vanity metrics are there, but these people aren't buyers. And quite frankly, if we go and even take the money out of it in terms of helping people, these people have no interest in getting in shape. You know what I mean? These aren't the people, like to Kelly's point, like vibes attract like vibes. So you got to check your own vibe first.
Absolutely. Checking your own vibe, and then using tools like at Fitposium, going to sessions to help you figure out like who are your target audience? What's your brand? Why are you doing this? And then figuring out if all of your decisions are aligned with this. What is your core purpose for doing this, and then basing your decisions on that, finding people in your space who are crushing it and looking at them not in a place of like, what can I steal from them, but what is their energy like? Is yours matching it? Being around people who are on the same journey as you. So sometimes it feels really lonely and isolating to be an entrepreneur, and you're not sure what to do, and just you can get in that comparison space. So getting out and making connections with people that are grounded, doing things in a way that you respond to, like going to hear Tiffany speak or listening to her podcast, you're doing the right thing already if you're listening to this, but finding people who you feel are doing things in a way that you admire and taking some cues from what their energy is like.
Yeah, I love that, and I do that to this day. I'm careful of how much time I spend like scrolling on social media. But when I'm attracted to someone's like the Fitposium ads, by the way, which, I'm probably keep getting retargeted
Oh,
because
yes.
I've
You've been
clicked
to our
on them.
website. Yeah.
Right. So, but I've been doing Facebook ads since the beginning, but there's always more to learn. So I look and I go, okay, your ads are, attracted me. And it's not just because I'm going and I'm speaking at it.
Mhm.
I like the setup. So I'm observing. I'm like,
Mhm.
okay, I
Mhm.
see what they did. I like the language they used. It's not in a, oh my God, the Fitposium ads are outperforming my ads or,
Mhm. Mhm.
or whatever, or looking at, someone who's maybe also a business coach and maybe they've been doing it longer. They have more followers or more engagement. I don't go, oh my God, like, I shouldn't be doing this anymore. Or even worse, I don't sit there and start picking them apart. I go,
Yeah.
interesting. Like it's an observation. Like it's almost like a marketing study. Like, okay, what is it they're doing? Like, what's their vibe? What's their energy? And then I look strategically, like, what is it they're doing? Is there something I can learn from them? That's a much better space to be in than
Absolutely.
comparison, don't you think?
Absolutely. When your emotions are regulated and balanced, that's when you can start to like see that and get into like a data fact driven space with your business. But when they're out of whack, that's where you're going to be in that fear, jealousy space. So that's a really good sign that maybe it's time to take some care for yourself. If you find yourself in that comparison, the endless scroll, that's a good time to go, okay, whoa, where is this coming from? What do I need right now? Do I need a snack? Do I need to talk to someone? Do I need a good cry? Do I need to journal? Like, what do I need right now? Because obviously, I'm not in my most balanced mindset.
That is an excellent tip. And you guys, there's an acronym that's used, and I'm sure it started with like 12-step programs that I'm
Yes.
obsessed with. It's called HALT. So
Yes.
to check in with yourself is, am I hungry, angry, lonely, or tired? I added an S to it, so halts or stressed. But
Yes. I use that one.
and then you can then make that assessment and go, okay, so what can I do? Do I call a friend? Do I take a nap? Do I have a snack? Do I stick my head in a freezer? Like,
Yes.
what is it? What does I need to do? So just take yourself through the halts: hungry, angry, lonely, tired, stressed, and use, the process that Kelly was explaining. And I'll do that check-in, by the way. Sometimes it's 5 times a day because I'll
Yes.
slip back into that zone where it just doesn't feel good. You guys can tell, like, your throat's constricted. You might sweat. You might start nervous habits. Like, I'm a cheek chewer, so I'll start like chewing the inside of my cheek. These are all signs.
Like pick at your cuticles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
Bite
we
your
all have
nails.
different ones.
Like
Yeah.
these are all signs. Like, okay, we need to do a self check-in. So what many people ask themselves before buying tickets to any kind of event or a mastermind or hiring a coach, and I've heard so many people do it. In fact, I've asked myself this question in the past too, which is funny because now I'm like, I've got to check myself on it. A lot of people want to know, am I going to make more money by going? Like, am I going to make more money? Am I going to get on a cover of a magazine by going to Fitposium? Like, what am I going to get out of this thing for spending money on the ticket? What's your answer to this?
My answer to that, because I get that answer, I get that question posed to me. I manage our social media quite frequently. It's all in what you put into it. It's all in it's your mindset. It's how prepared you are. It's how open you are to opportunities. So Fitposium is going to bring you opportunities. We've confirmed 12 magazines so far that are casting for multiple projects. So what that means is people come to Fitposium will have the opportunity to sit face to face with these publications, talk to the editors, the art directors, pitch themselves, show some images, let them know what they could do for them, what articles they'd want to write, which is amazing. They get to sit down and meet them and make that connection. We can't predict what that magazine exactly is looking for in this moment. They may be looking for someone who doesn't have your look, but that doesn't mean that in 6 months they won't be looking for exactly you. But if they didn't exactly choose you and then you didn't follow up, you kind of got into that comparison emotion mindset and you didn't send those emails. It was great to meet you. I loved connecting with you. I loved our chat about kickboxing. Then you're not going to get that piece out of it. But if you choose to nurture it, okay, I met them, let me follow up. And then maybe 6 months from now, you get that feature. I can't predict any of that or know what they're looking for, but I know you can prepare yourself and your mindset, and we're bringing the best opportunities to you. Like you would literally have to fly to New York, LA, Australia, Canada to go sit and meet with all of these people. We're flying them to you in addition to all of our amazing speakers that you can talk to, interact with. Like it's up to you to take advantage of. You could come to Fitposium and you could hide in the back of the room, talk to no one, and scroll on your phone.
That's true. And you guys have to think about other things that happen when you're around like-minded people. You're around other people who are in the same industry. You never know who you're talking to. That also goes back to the trust and divine timing in the universe. Yes. Maybe you're, listening to my talk at Fitposium or someone else, and you're just sitting next to someone, a stranger, and you start talking. For all you know, that person could be, a reporter at a local news station, or maybe they have a really popular fitness blog. Or, by the way, you could be talking to me. I have a top success podcast. And maybe your charisma, just your energy. I don't give a shit how many followers you have, by the way. I mean, it's nice, but I don't care. But like your charisma, your energy, and the key point is you follow up. You're interested. You show up. You could end up getting podcast features. I mean, Chris Harder's a speaker. He has an amazing podcast as well. I mean, Fitposium has a podcast. I mean, you guys could end up on a lot of things on different people's social media, taking pictures, but that will not happen if you're in the back, just scrolling on your phone, hiding. Listen, I'm an introvert. I think you're an introvert too, aren't you?
I think that I have introvert tendencies. I've learned to be very extroverted because of my military brat upbringing, but I definitely need that time to download and to be by myself.
Yeah, I mean, I call myself a highly socialized introvert, but I do need my downtime. But when I am present, I check myself. I go through the halts to make sure, did I get enough sleep? Do I need more water, a snack? What do I need to show up as my best self? But I'm not showing up in an energy of what can I get from these people? I show up with how can I serve? And I'm sure you guys have heard this before, but there's a reason you're hearing it again. And when can't you feel when people are showing up in an energy of what can I get? Can you feel that?
I can feel it. And sometimes people directly say that, this didn't exactly happen in this way. And it's but that's okay. We don't know what's next. You don't know what's coming. And like you said, you don't know who's sitting next to you. You could launch a business with a person that you're grabbing coffee with. It's all about who you're sitting next to, who might be one step ahead of you. If we're in a space of comparison, they have 100,000 followers and I have 100, versus they're a person and I really like what they're doing. Let me talk to them about their exercise philosophy. And then all of a sudden they're sharing things with you. You're sharing things with them. So it's just getting back into that space. You're going to have fear, comparison, mindset, all those things come up, but just check it and go back to being open and excited. And you don't know what the opportunities could present to you, but you're not going to get these opportunities staying home. Ooh. I know that for sure.
It's that, you guys know I love analogies. It's like dating, right? It's like I have friends who are single and it's like, I've just not met the right guy. Where are these people? They're not in the produce section at Whole Foods. It's like, girl, you've got to go out and do shit in target rich environments. They don't just come, but you have to you can't go out on the hunt because men feel that energy. Or people in general, if you're gay or whatever, people feel that hunting energy. Go out and do the things you love, but don't go to a knitting convention and expect to meet a husband. You know what I'm saying?
That's so funny.
You have to show up as your best you. And if you're not quite there yet, I can tell you that working with Kelly, being around her energy, there's a lot of also speakers at Fitposium who are going to be covering a lot of mindset stuff, which is really what I feel makes your event so different.
Thank you.
most fitness and health focused events are like shit ton of swag bags, shit, you're seeing the latest like organic this and that, fitness equipment, lots of business, lots of masculine energy stuff. But you guys have worked a lot of mindset stuff in here, which is brilliant. A lot of people want to avoid it.
Yes, they do. And that's okay. If they're not ready, that's okay. We still love you. But when you try it without having the right mindset and it doesn't work, we're here for you. Come back.
Right. And maybe try one, and I'm not just speaking Fitposium, I'm speaking like other, other networking opportunities you have too. But like if there's an opportunity to learn something more about mindset, just experiment with it. And if it doesn't feel right for you, then
that's okay.
It's okay. What about people where they're like, listen, I'm strapped for cash. Like I'm building a business, mama ain't making much money. And I would have to put this, on my credit card to go to Fitposium. What would you say? Not that you can speak to everyone's finances, but what would you say about people like investing in themselves when they aren't rolling in the cash?
I mean, I'm paying off student loan debt. So it's hard for me to like go there because I know this conference is, I get it. It's an investment, but if you're educating, like you want to educate yourself, you're investing in your business, investing in your mindset, it makes a lot more sense than paying for another smaller thing that is in the grind. It's in that tug of war mindset versus getting that overall perspective. If I hadn't invested the money to go back to school, become a therapist, triple my income, like all these things, it's paid off. I'm nearly done paying off of my student loan debt, which I'm so excited about. But if I hadn't done that, I wouldn't be where I am now, like helping people and having all this like amazing connection, doing what I want to do in life. But I had to be willing to do that. So it's looking at where are your other expenditures and are they big picture goals? Are they helping you work on your business or it's more of in your business? And I mean, I think right now our general admission passes, it's less than $350 for
I didn't realize it was that low. And you guys, you get, of course, a ProjectME discount code because I'm all about coupons and discounts. Like, what's up, TJ Maxx? You need to sponsor me.
Oh my gosh.
I'm obsessed. Home Goods, TJ Maxx, sponsor Tiffany. Okay. So my discount code, I can't believe it's that low. It's ProjectME, one word, 25. You get 25% off. Is that correct?
25% off. Yes. So our
That's
tickets
insane.
are at like just under $350. So you'll get 25% off of that for a multi-day conference that you're going to have access to just the top speakers, influencers, entrepreneurs in this space. It's an amazing opportunity. We would have to invest thousands upon thousands to get access to all of these people.
I mean, tens of thousands.
Yeah.
Seriously,
So,
this is, I didn't
Yeah.
realize your ticket. Honestly, I didn't know. I thought your tickets were like $1,500. I had no idea.
Yeah, we sold out of our VIP experience a bit ago, and we got our general admission passes. We founded this conference because we want to help as many people as possible. My husband's a fitness photographer and entrepreneur, and we've brought a lot of mindset things into this business. Just him and being married to me, a therapist, like he's really done this amazing job of incorporating mindfulness, journaling. He has this great practice. So we saw the conference of wanting to bring in the best of the tools that we use. We're just tired of seeing people who are talented. They have great hearts. They want to reach people. They're knowledgeable. And then they would even get like a magazine cover features, and then they would go out of business.
Yep.
That was breaking our hearts because I would talk to these people and I loved being with them. I'd be on set with them while he was shooting, but then I could see that there was something off in their mindset, or they're afraid. They're afraid to ask for more money. They're afraid to put themselves out there because someone they went to high school with once might have a judgmental comment about it. Like all these little things that were tripping people up. We're like, we just need to get all of these people together, empower them, build community within each other, and then give them the resources to help them with the tools and the mindset so they can succeed. So I really just want to help as many people as we can.
See, and these two are coming from that sense of service. If it was just about money, let me tell you guys something who've never put on an event. If it's just about freaking money or ego, you might do one event. You would never go back for year two in a million years. It's brutal. It is a lot of freaking work. It costs a small fortune. And a lot of times from the event itself, you can even go into a little bit into the hole just for the event or break even. So they are doing it for the right reasons. And that's why the right people are showing up. It's a matter of, are you going to show up for yourself, or are you going to continue getting hair extensions and a gel manicure and a tattoo instead? Seriously.
Yeah. It can be. And then you can get yourself to a place where you can have both and feel financially secure, right? Like that, it's okay to have both, but it's looking at, is this decision taking me towards where I want to go? Or is this just keeping me in the same place, except I've got like a new top that I can wear? Like, where are we with this?
Love that. If you guys are loving this episode and what we went through with like the emotional skills, how to work through being blocked or stuck, do me a favor, take a screenshot right now and tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany and at Fitposium. So FITPOSIUM. If you're driving, you're multitasking like a spaz, you're hiding in the bathroom at work listening to this like I would be doing, it's okay. Just tag me at ProjectME with Tiffany and I'll make sure to share it on my social media and then tag Fitposium. But let us know, like, if you're liking the Virgo sandwich. Like, we need to know if you want more of this Virgo-ness. Like, you have a Virgo therapist and you have a Virgo self-made multimillionaire. Like, that's a damn good sandwich.
I'm pretty excited
and both only children.
Oh my gosh, yes. So many commonalities.
Wait.
I knew it. I knew the second I saw you. I was like, oh, this person, I get her.
That's just, it's so interesting. Again, like attracts like. So when I was in a shit state and had no self-worth, you can imagine the type of people I attracted into my life. But because I've done this work, I attract amazing people, like Kelly into my life. So this is another reinforcement of why it's worth doing all of this inner work. So you guys want to get more details, like where is Fitposium? Who are all the speakers? Where do I send these people?
Just fitposium.com. FITPOSIUM.com, or go to our Instagram at Fitposium. Send us a message. I'll respond to you quickly. And we've got our speaker lineup, all kinds of information about our media opportunities. And we post pretty often, letting you know about all the stuff we've got going on. And we're just so excited for our 5th year.
And you guys use the discount code. It's 25% off. So ProjectME, one word, ProjectME 25. If you forget it, you can just DM me or Fitposium. Yeah. And just say like, oh, I heard it on, Tiffany's podcast. I forgot the code or whatever. And they'll hook you up. And I'm really excited to see you guys there. Like, take some action for yourself. Get this moment together. And there's no way it won't pay off if you're coming from the right mindset. It was so amazing having you on.
Thank you for having me on.
Was this fun for you?
Oh, it was so much fun. I feel like your audience is just getting so much benefit from like learning mindset, tuning into you. And I just loved being a part of this journey and sharing all this with you. And I really hope that it helps. And it was really fun. Thank you.
All right, you guys, take a screenshot so that Kelly knows how freaking amazing she is as a guest. We need to see this shit. And tag at ProjectME with Tiffany. I will reshare it in my Instagram stories. So that also, by the way, helps with your engagement for those of you who are obsessed over it.
Yes, it does. And I'll share a worksheet for you for our audience that's just going to recap some of what we talked about and a couple of my favorite tools. We can include that in the show notes if that works. Or
awesome. Yeah, free tools. We're all about that. So you guys can go to show notes to see what that is. If you're lazy, DM me and I will get it to you, because I know that's something I would do. All right. Thanks, Kelly. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please write a 5-star review on iTunes. Not only will this make me super happy, but it will allow more listeners to find our special show. Simply help me help others.